Hello everybody, hope you're having another blessed day. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing you guys kind of a part 2 of my deck profile for my Dark Warriors in, well, July 2021. Now, in my last video, I kind of gave you the deck profile and I said I'll be giving you guys the basic combos for this deck, and I'll be showing you basically the free combos, at least the free outcomes you're aiming for depending on what kind of hands you have. The first one you're going to see is basically your basic 2-warrior combo, or any way you can get 2 warriors on the board, and I'll kind of explain what you end up with and how you're going to play it out. The second one is going to be basically your 2 warriors plus 1 extender, and your last one is going to be your full on multiple extenders, like 2 free extenders, whatever. Alright, and I'll show you the 3 different boards you're going to end up with. Alright, so starting off this one, we got, let's just say, we open up a pretty good going second, not that good going first hand. We only have a way to get to 2 warriors, which is going to be our connector, right? Which is our best card in the deck. We also got Ash, or hand traps. We do play 12 hand traps. Let's say we draw bricks, whatever. Well, it's still a pretty decent hand. So you would start with your connector, or at least any way to get out your 2 warriors, be it 2 extenders to get into 2 warriors, whatever. Since we have connector, we're going to be using the Dolphin's effect to take out a hand trap, or at least look at the opponent's hand to see if they have Nibiru. Because again, yes, this deck, this loses completely to Nibiru, which is why we play a bunch of side deck cards to counter that with the exchange of drag down. So from here you can go to Isolde. Isolde is going to add, and now typically if I had 2 regular extenders to go into Isolde and I didn't do connector, I'll always add connector by Isolde's effect. But since I already used the connector to go for the Dolphin, I'm just going to add a random let's say a normal summon warrior. It could be a sage, it could be a junk forward, basically anything but butterfly, since we can't really normal butterfly on our second turn. Alright, so from here use Isolde's effect. We'll send some other quit spells, and the ones I always send is always going to be Overdone Barrel, Autonomous if I'm going first, and of course Divine Blade. The only one going to keep it in our deck in this situation is Living Fossil, since Living Fossil is going to be our best one. And we don't mind actually drawing it, so is this a free revive monster reborn basically. And the only difference would be if we had no quit spells in our hand, we would send Axe of Fools instead of Durandal, since again just a free card to our hand. Alright. Here we get an Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is going to send the zombie. Now the zombie has the effect that you have to place 1 card on your hand and back on top of your deck, and I really like this effect because it helps us put back double or nothing, which if this card is ever in our hand, we have to make sure it goes back to the deck before we get to a Utopia double. We can't even use that effect. So in this situation, since we do have this really bad brick, Plexo is going to put it back on top of her deck to take care of that problem. Now from here we'll go Isolde and Flag Spreader. Again, a Hake Fibrax, and Hake Fibrax is going to trigger to get on the Vion Coup. And I typically say that this is when, if you're playing against this deck, you would probably want to Nibiru it. This is the best way, because at this point, this deck will not barely survive anything at all. It won't get any searches to his hand. Because if you allow yourself, the opponent, to go to the next play, which is going to be Violent Cube and Knight into Dawn Dragster, you Nibiru at this point to kind of waste the resources. They're still going to get the Violent Cube effect, which is going to be to add the Quit spell, which is going to be the DDR. Alright, so Nibiru at this point means, technically if they can banish some stuff, let's say they banish Isolde, banish the Knight, they can just revive it with DDR for that 1 occurrence, and technically keep coming off from there. You can actually go revive Armageddon Knight, bring back Knight, send Elite back to your hand, banish it again, summon again, Armageddon Knight back out. You can actually still end full combo. You just won't have the negate, and you won't have the Hulk. Okay, so again, make sure you hit this point, or if you want to risk it, wait all the way to the end. So Divine Sword you activate now, banish your 2 warriors, get out Divine Sword, DDR, divide the Armageddon Knight, and you're going to loop this a couple times. First one you're going to send is going to be Elite. Elite, we'll use when I send that because you have the DDR back to your hand, which would then send the Armageddon Knight to the graveyard. That immediately costs 400 life points. And then you're going to DDR again. That's by banishing Armageddon Knight, sending it right back to the grave to bring it back out. And from here, you're going to now send 1 of your 2 Phantom Knights. You can either send the Cloak or the Boots. Doesn't really matter. In this scenario, I did send Boots, but I would say the best one to send is going to be Cloak, just in case you somehow end up in a situation where you have Torrent Scale and Boots somehow in your hand. Technically, you can get 2 wars that way, go into Isolde. It's weird, well, it won't happen, but you know, it is a scenario. And then from here, I will activate Boots, hold my cloak, get my rank up to my hand. And now we can go into Topu Double, since we do have double enough and back in the deck. Detach to add, and then we overlay into Kaiser. A lot of people throw a fit saying, hey, you can't summon Kaiser that way. You need 2 number monsters, XYZs. Guys, read cards before you make accusations. Utopia Double can summon out any Utopia monster afterwards, being Kaiser, not this regular Utopia, not the new Draco, Dragon, Utopia, whatever it is. Not even that. Alright, so keep that in mind. From here, Advanced Divine Sword. Just to get a war to out of the grave. Reason why I'm doing this because I don't want my opponent to draw like a Monster Reborn and bring back out, let's say, a Dolphin or Armageddon Eye or something like that. I can kind of bait out one of my negates. So I'm just going to kind of avoid a situation and just get them out of there since, you know, I don't need them anymore and I don't want my opponent having a chance to use them too. Also makes the hand look big and scary. Right. From here, we'll activate Kaiser. Kaiser is going to special summon out 2 since it has the effect that it can bring out number of monsters less than 3,000 attack, up to number of materials with different names, so that'd be double and elite. With this detach of 1, which you do detach afterwards, so keep that in mind. You don't detach before you finish the effect. It's on resolution. From here, we'll just set up the rank up. Now, some plays will also end if you send, let's say, your Phoenix Blade and your double or nothing, you know, to kind of, you know, just in case you get the Cosmic or the Twin. You have that 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3 chance, whatever, to survive. Well, you know, that's why we're playing Darn Dragster. So you don't have to even worry about that happening. Yes, they can open up double Cosmic, and at that point that happens, whoopee-doo, it happens, you know. They draw 2 Cosmics, 2 Twins. If that happens, you're kind of destined to lose at that point. But you can still do some pretty good plays. You may still win, actually. So, looking at this end board, okay, you know, let's say we don't go keep the hand traps in hand in mind because we don't nibble our own board and then you have like a god token we can't kill. But you do have Ash, but we're not going to keep that on track. What we currently have is going to be a Darn Dragster, which is Spell and Trap Negate. We got a Hulk, and we got the rank up, okay? So, of course, the big thing is if anything happens, you know, we can always just rank up, negate the board. But the only time we're really going to need to do that is if they open up Dark Road no more, because this is going to negate everything, might as well negate everything right back at them. Which, you know, this card can actually be used to summon out Kali Yuga, and actually does negate Dark Road no more or Mystic Mind, because the effect does not activate on resolution. It's like one of those undefined effects, because it doesn't say can or if with Kali Yuga, it just does it, okay? Which I'll kind of show you that text when we get to that point. Alright, so let's say to activate a spell card. What the play is going to be actually is going to activate Darn Dragster to kind of negate that spell card. But you're also going to chain Halki Fibrax. Alright, so Halki Fibrax will banish. And you're going to bring out Riser Dragon. Now, in resolution, you get your counters, reduce this to level 5. And then you also get Riser's effect. To send a monster from your deck to the graveyard to reduce its level. And you're always going to want to send a level 4. Typically, I send an Ascended Sage, but you can also send like another connector or anything that's level 4 basically. Butter Supply, you name it. Mainly because I want it to be a level 3. Now, during our next opponent's turn or next effect, let's say activate another spell card that really want to negate, you would of course go for the rank up to negate that card. But what you can also do is chain with Riser Dragon. Riser Dragon effect will activate. And you can now synchro summon using Riser Dragon as a level 3 and Darn Dragster, which is now level 5 for a level 8. And what we're going to go for is going to be Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which is just going to be a big body with also basically a free monster negate. So the regular combo gives you one spell to get Spell and Trap Negate and also further on through it, a monster negate. And then of course you get the smack down big old Kali Yuga. And again, here's the text here. I just call it XYC summon, so that just means after the chain that involves him being XYC summon, for us this turns other cards and effects cannot be activated on the field. So it doesn't say like if this card XYC summon. That's the big part there. If this card or if it said if or can here, it wouldn't have that effect. But since it does not, that means the effect doesn't activate and just becomes live end of chain. So technically that would be like end of chain 2 with rank up. His effect will be live and negate anything that is a lower down chain, being chain 1, chain 2, whenever you got summoned. Alright. So this is basically your inboard if you are going for, of course, first, and you just have 2 warriors. Now let's go and check out what happens when you have like 2 warriors plus an extender. Alright, so here's an example of a starting hand. That is going to be your 2 warriors plus extender, okay? I'm not going to show you one that has the connector and all that stuff, but this is going to be a pretty decent one, okay? Say you open number 2, hand traps, or going second cards, you know it happens. Sometimes it's one, sometimes none. And we drove 3 ways to get into, well, warriors. So we got forward, we got the fire flint, and we got lemon fossil. So in this play, actually not even going normal summon on this turn. We'll just spell summon out the forward. To use fire flint to spell summon out because you do have a warrior on the board. And you can link those off into Isolde. We know the effect. We're going to add. Now we're going to add connector. Since we do want connector now, because we didn't use this effect, so in this case we go to the second turn. We can go connector, rip a card off opponent's hand, and then O2K. Alright. Now from here, we're going to be able to do Isolde's effect, send in our 4 cards. Again, we didn't have any quit spells, so we're going to keep the Durandal and also the Living Fossil in our deck. And go for Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is going to send a Plague Zombie. Plague Zombie is then going to shuffle back to Dark Ruler since that does not help us at all. Spell summon out. And now from the Edo play, at least the previous play, at this point you would think off Isolde and Plague Spread to get into Hulk. But since you do have an extender, we're going to use that extender. Picking any of our warriors in a graveyard and use that and the zombie to go into Hulk. Alright, so here we get the Hulk play. Hulk gives us out the cube. And this is where, you know, you gotta make a decision depending on what you think your opponent's playing. I'll tell you, you usually want to link off from here and actually not go for your Dawn Drax Tower yet. Alright, so you know we're probably going. We have 2 link 2s. So we're going to link those off and we get a Appaloosa. Yep, we just smacked down an Appaloosa with 2 pips, and at this point we can't really be hand trapped. So from here, we just go full combo. Go for the Dawn Drax, so we get the add from cube, and we do the whole shenanigans with the DDR and Phoenix Blade. Bring back the Armageddon Knight to get the Elite to the graveyard. And then once you go for the whole Elite play, we're going to go get Armageddon Knight out again to send our Phantom Knight's great card to the graveyard to get the rank up to our hand. Alright, and so this would be kind of inboard in this scenario. Now, as a bonus, this is why I do like Infinite Impermanent, since I can just sit it on the end phase, and what it's going to provide me is just another free monster negate, and technically also a spell and trap negate if they happen to play into the columns, which would be quite funny, but does happen. So in the previous scenario, though, we did have a spell negate with the Kali Yuga anytime we needed it, and also further on we can get the monster negate. However, in this version, we do have Appaloosa already on board, ready to rock off the monster negates, or the spell trap negates if we need it. So anytime we can negate a monster, or spell and trap. So we got 2 monster negates, 1 spell trap negate. In this scenario, we did get the infinite permanent, so make that technically 3 monster negates, potentially 2 spell and trap negates. Right. So in this scenario, you know, let's say we used Appaloosa and we used Dawn Drax, you're good. Alright. But at this point, we would then use also Infinite Permanence if we needed to, but if not, just go straight into the rank up, go into Kali Yuga. The only unfortunate part is that when you go for Kali Yuga, your monsters are going to use any counters or level increases, decreases they had. So that's going to be a pretty good thing too. So what happens is Appaloosa when Kali Yuga summons, it loses all of its counters, okay? Which means it won't get it back at the end phase, which is typically why, you know, Appaloosa would then be the scapegoat to sacrifice. You just get attacked over by opponent's monster just so they can feel like they did something to you. Sure, give it to them. But the cool thing is that it actually resets Dawn Draxter. And it's all because of how counters work in the game, okay? Now, if it is a lingering effect from a different card, let's say always like say the reptilian cards that can target a card, put the counters on it. If Kali Yuga is summoned then, like when the counters are put on Dawn Draxter, when Kali Yuga is summoned, those counters will stay on it, okay? Because it's not Dawn Draxter's effect that's putting the counters on there. It is a lingering effect from another card, so Kali Yuga cannot negate that. However, if it is my card itself that has the effect that reduces its level, puts counters on it, and Caligula is then summoned or any card like Infinite Permanence is activated on it, it will actually negate its effect and also reduce its level back to where it used to be. So on my next turn, my Dawn Dragon will be back at 7, so it'll be back at 2100 attack, and also has all those negates I want all over again. But unfortunately, Appaloosa will not, since its effect is only when it's summoned and it's not being summoned again, so its levels are not going to come back or its counters. Alright, so yeah, that is the end board in case you're playing Dark Warriors. You have your 4 combo, and you get your 1 bonus extender. So in the last one, I'm going to show you probably the best board you can technically make with this, and just brings everything all together. So let's get into it. Alright, so this is going to be probably one of the best boards you can make. It is a very, very wonky hand, it looks like. You know, we drew a Phoenix Blade. God damn, we don't want to see that. We drew Rank Up, that's a brick. Well, but actually, this is going to be the most broken board you can make with this deck. So, to start off, what you're going to have to do is going to be good old Junk Forward, okay? Because you don't want to activate Instant Fusion first, because you can't control any monsters coming out Junk Forward for free. So go Junk Forward, activate Instant Fusion, and we're actually going to bring out good old Millennium Eye, just so we can say no to all those hand trap moves. So go Spell, Ash, Blossom, Drow, they gotta go. Now, I will say still lose to Gamma and also Nibiru, but you know what, we can't beat them all. And I'm not even going to talk about Infinite Permanence. Alright, now you could be going to Dolphin, but with the connector Dolphin, but that's not going to get you to your highest potential. Your highest potential is going to come from using Torrent Scale. It always says Torrent Scale is already the whole second combo with a free extender. So this technically is free cards in itself. Alright, so free cards, 4 cards, you get 5 cards for the price of 3. Alright, so it's very nice. Alright, so normal summon Torrent Scale, discard a card, which, you know, this happens to be the Phoenix Blade in this scenario. If we had no Warrior, Connector, Dark Grepher, Armageddon Knight, Plague Spreader, you name it, we'll send it to the graveyard. And you're going to send the Cloak. Cloak would then activate the effect to banish, and you're going to add the boots. The reason why you're adding the boots is that you can now spell summon the boots because you do control no Phantom Knights to get yourself a Renadella, a monster. You can now send those to the graveyard, go into Isolde. Its effect, you're going to add Connector to your hand because again, if we not use it yet, we're going to use it maybe next turn if your opponent sticks around for that long. Alright, so Isolde's second effect, we're going to send some more equipped spells. This time he's in the Durndale. Get an Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is going to send for Plague Spreader. Plague Spreader is going to use its effect. We're going to put back the rank up. Now, technically, you can make even a better play because, you know, if you already have the rank up, technically you can just search out the Shade Brigandine. But you know what? We're not going to overly complicate the combo, okay? We don't need to be doing that. No. So I'm just going to show you if, let's say, you even didn't have the rank up, you know, and you had some random other card, okay? Random brick. So you can go off for the zombie. Let's say even that was double or nothing. And from here, you're going to activate the boots and then add back the rank up or add the rank up itself. Which would then also trigger the Torrent Scales to get yourself another body. So from here, we can now use Torrent Scale and also Plague Spreader Zombie to go into Halki Fibrax and get the spell summon out for the cube. Now, last play I showed you guys, you know, you'll go, okay, Halki Fibrax, and Isolde, you go into Appaloosa. Or you may be looking at like, okay, I need level 4 and level 3 to get Dawn Dragon for the combo, so I don't need anything else. A 4-pip Appaloosa, which you can perfectly well do. But what I say you want to do is actually go for a 3-pip Appaloosa. Alright, so you can go Junk Forward, you can go to Isolde, and the Millennium Eyes Restrict, because technically you would have probably used it by then to negate a monster effect, because your opponent would have thrown something at you, and you would have just taken it. Because some cards still don't, people don't know what Millennium Eyes Restrict does, and they're like, what? You can't just take my monster from the graveyard? I'm like, yes I can, because we don't read cards. Alright, so yeah, go for a 3-pip Appaloosa, which is still phenomenal, and now we do a full play, okay? This time though, we get to leave Hacker Fox on the board, so let's just speed it up till we get to end part, because you've already seen this combo the same, and this whole section is always going to be the same. Alright, so send in. You can probably guess how this board is going to end. So, I'll explain to you guys when we get there. Send away, send away, send away, send it all away. And boom. Alright, so this is the end board here. Okay. Now we get to combine basically the aspects of both the first part I showed you and the second part I showed you. Mainly being, we still get to do the Halky 5x spray on Dragster, but also already having the free monster gates if we need to use them. So of course, let's start, let's say we get free monster effects. Don't know what deck you're playing against, but maybe dangers, I don't know. But you're also going to be negating with Darn Dragster. Alright, so Darn Dragster negate, and you're going to chain with the Halky 5x. You're going to get out the Rise of Dragon effect. You're going to send a level 4, being a Sage. And then on whatever chain you need to, so you had to use all your negates, and to get to, you can go rank up, and then you can chain Rise of Dragon. Send those to the grave. You're going to get your Crystal Wing, and you're going to get your Kalyuka. Alright, and again, we'll lose Appaloosa most likely. So still kind of in on the same board as the second one. Only difference is that you also get to have an Appaloosa negate, which is a very spicy. And you always get to have the whole 3 to 4 negates. And yeah, this is kind of situation you get. And technically you can still make this combo, I believe, as long as you find with going for Appaloosa with 2 negates. So this is basically four warriors, basically. 4 warriors or extenders or cards, monsters, get you into this board that will have at least 2 Appaloosa negates, Spell and Trap negate, a Crystal Wing Dragon, and a Kalyuga who just doesn't care about fudging anything. Alright, so with that, that's going to do it for today's video. And I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It guys helps you support me and helps me make more videos for you to enjoy. Now with that, you know it's time for me to say, I hope those speakers are blessed, and hope to see you again in the next video. With that in mind, I'm out.